Well, listen, do you know what? Let's just get into it because we've already started talking about your latest exploits, I'm going to call them, which are very exciting. This new single, Restless, with Atom Smith. My goodness, it's blowing up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been really nice to have such great support from particularly just like from people like close to me as well. Like everyone's just been loving it, and Max Radio to put it as track of the week was incredible. So yeah, it's been really nice because it was a track that was really fun to do, and the video was really fun to do.
It really was. I mean, for anyone who's not seen it yet, how would you explain it, remembering Family Show?
Family show. Um, it's not that bad, don't worry, everybody. I would probably explain it as if you imagine maybe like a psychotic, like murderess kind of like so little bit crazy, but still I'm still trying to keep this family friendly. Yeah,
Bit
that's probably the
racy.
best. Yeah, racy, um, little bit psychotic, and all about kind of breaking free.
And talk about breaking free, that's a really good way of describing it with the whole straight jacket thing. You must have had so much fun making that video.
Yes, the straitjacket bit was less fun, I'm gonna say. We actually ended up reshooting that day, because there was a couple of things that weren't quite right. So I ended up having 2 days in a straitjacket, and I can tell you that it is not a great, enjoyable choice of clothing.
A
It
little
is
bit warm and
so
restrictive.
It's so hot and sweaty, and
Mhm.
it is so uncomfortable. And the second day was not as bad. The first day, I hadn't ever been in a straitjacket before. I hadn't really thought about the logistics of it, and I was not very sensible. I basically didn't eat for a day. I basically didn't drink anything for a day. I kept getting annoyed because I had hair in my face, and I kept having to ask for help and people to move it from my nose and stuff, and it was horrible. Um, but the day when we got to do the hostages in the house was super fun because I didn't have to be tied up and they did.
It's their turn now. Oh, I can
Exactly.
imagine it was. And this is with Atom Smith, who I think if you worked with Atom before, haven't you?
Yes, lots. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He actually produced or co-produced my album, and we've done quite a lot of collaborations together.
So how did you guys meet? Because he's got quite an interesting background, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's an incredible producer, has been for many, many years in LA. And as with most of the people that I have linked up with musically, it's just been me being very brazen. Like, hi, I love your music. Can I be on a track, please? But it also helped that we were on the same label, so Freshly Squeezed helps to kind of put us in touch with each other. But yeah, anyone that I've ever worked with is usually me just like messaging them like, I love your stuff.
And it works because the genre that we're talking about, made more this one, I think, is a bit more sort of back to sort of electro swing roots, a bit darker as well. But the genre itself lends itself to dancing. And you can see, there's the dancing in the video itself anyway. But it started something of a kind of dance craze, hasn't it? I saw Freshly Squeezed posted some videos of people in different parts of the world doing little dance routines to the song.
Yeah, I just saw that today as well. I had no idea, and I just saw them. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah, a good mix of like there was a group of guys who did a cool dance to it. There was a girl who was doing a sort of more traditional sort of swing type dance to it. Yeah, it was really cool.
And I love that about the genre itself because it's really hard to keep still, isn't it, when you're listening
Mhm.
to this kind of music?
Yeah, I think that the if you listen to the lyrics of the song, that kind of really encapsulates how it feels to listen to electro swing music, just being there and just you can't control yourself. You just have to dance. You have to get up.
Absolutely. So the song itself, then, is this something that you wrote or that Atom wrote? How did it all sort of come about?
So it was a bit of a mix in terms of the music. So Atom had this demo that he had ready and he wanted to work on. So he sent me that and with a couple of other things as well that we've been working on. And yeah, just always kind of gives it over and trusts me to just do whatever I like. And so then from a vocal and lyric point of view, then I took over with that part, apart from the bits that Berkey, the rapper, did as well. So yeah, it was fun to be able to put a spin on it, and usually Atom kind of always inspires me with whatever working title he's been using. Like Bad Girls, that was what was on it. There's a few other ones where he's just had a random title, not necessarily thinking that's what the song is going to be called. But then I'm like, yeah, that could work. And then that kind of inspires the whole premise for the lyrics that I'm using.
Very much collaborative then. And can I just say as well, Berkey's got some moves.
I know. Do you know? So my son saw the video. I was actually trying to shield him from it, not because I thought it was weird, but more because I know that he will burst my bubble of thinking that I'm cool. Um, and he made it very clear that Berkey has much better moves than I do.
Oh, I love that. So you're not one to get involved in your own dance crazes then?
Yeah, well, I mean, I would love to think I think I'm great. I think I've got great moves, and then my nearly 13-year-old son comes along and yeah, tells me otherwise.
What do him and his mates make of the genre then and of what you're doing musically? Is it something that they would be aware of if you weren't doing it, do you think?
I mean, my son Lucas, he loves electro swing, but that's definitely because I have forced it upon him. He still says like, how do I know all the lyrics to the Caravan Palace albums? I'm like, yeah, because I made you listen to them when you were 5 every day. Um, so yeah, he's very aware of it and he loves it. And he's got a playlist of all his favorite songs, and there's a good bit of electro swing in there. His friends, I don't even know if they know. I don't know if he ever talks about it. He probably is just like so embarrassed of his of his mom. I don't know. I don't think kids are ever going to think their parents are cool. So.
No, that's true, actually. That's good. But can I just put that to bed? You are absolutely cool, Alanna Lyes. I
Thank
mean,
you.
come on, come on. He needs to know this. Lucas, you need to know this. Your mum is cool. I'm intrigued though, because of his age. What sort of stuff is he into outside of electro swing then? What are the kids loving right now, Alanna?
Oh, lots. He's a big Swiftie actually. He really loves Taylor Swift. And who else does he love? He loves like he's into quite a lot of pop music, really. Things like Ed Sheeran. He likes Bieber Doobie. He was actually really gutted because she was performing in Leeds, and he was really hoping that we could go, but I missed out on the tickets. So bad
Oh,
mom.
what a shame. Well, do you know what? They're good people to like because it's real music, isn't it? And there is some of that around, but there's also some, sort of potentially less real music around. So it's good that he's into, good sort of songwriter stuff, which is great. I mean, that's obviously we're talking about what you've been doing with Atom Smith and Burkey there, but also quite recently, you've also put out music with OddChap, which is a little bit different again to this. Is definitely a different kind of feel to the OddChap music, and we've been playing that too. Tell us a little bit about the Strange Lies EP.
Yeah, that was a really nice one to do. It actually started with, again, it's always me that's just like, well, actually, no, hang on. I was gonna say I initiate this. OddChap originally had got in touch with me for his album. So I'll give OddChap the credit there that he approached me initially about working together. But then because I loved our track Highway Romance back in, I think it was 2022, I got back in touch with him and was just like, oh, I'm looking to make some new music. I'd really like to work with you again. And so we started on the last track of the EP, Good Get Beat, and really loved it. And I was like, yeah, that was really good. Do you want to do another one? And so he's just like so prolific. He just, rather than even just sending me one track, he sent me like an album's worth of tracks. And he's just like, these are all demos I've been working on. If you want to jump on one, that's great. And then there was 3 that really stood out to me. And I was like, do you mind if I jump on 3 of them? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So when we had completed those 4 songs, we just felt like they actually go really well together. They're all very different, but they all kind of work. And we could have gone down the single route. We could have, really milked it and spread it out. But we just wanted to do it as an EP. Sometimes it's quite nice to just produce a body of work that you really like. So.
It's like when you do an album and it's got sort of like a start, a middle, and an end, and it all sort of
Mm.
flows together. There's something so satisfying about that, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think it's something that really gets lost in this day and age of music because it's so everything's about streaming, everything's about singles, otherwise everything else gets lost. And so from a maybe commercial point of view, it's not always the best idea to put out bodies of work, but it's so much more satisfying as an artist, I think. And sometimes it's better to just do what you like rather than do what you think is going to produce the best results.
You've got to be happy doing this as well because it's a lot of effort and a lot of creative effort, which is, it can be quite exhausting sometimes. But I'm guessing that because you do a lot of these collaborations, does that make it a little bit easier? Because, of course, then not only are you sharing creative minds, and so that takes a little bit of a load off, but presumably you kind of spark energy in each other and come up with things as a result. But also, you've got sort of whole sections of fan base to kind of play off from all the different people involved, haven't you?
Yeah, it definitely makes things a lot easier. I started with collaborations just because, I didn't really know much about music in terms of like releasing songs and things, and I didn't really play much myself other than singing at the time. So I started in collaborations, and I kind of got back into piano a bit more, and that's when I put together my album because it was lockdown and we all had loads of time. So it took a lot more mental and physical energy to create the album. Because even though I was working with producers, it was the other way around. It wasn't the producer sending me tracks and me working on their ideas. It was me creating a song and then them just producing around it. So yeah, it was a lot more work. It was a lot of fun. And not that I don't want want to put that work in, but I was actually diagnosed with ME a couple of years ago, and so that's kind of slowed down and reduced my mental and physical capacity. So I kind of have gone back into collaborations kind of because of that, because it's a really nice way to be able to do music without having that complete drain. Yeah, again, it is nice to work with other people because they have all these ideas, and I think it's an easier way to create more fun music as well. Because I think when you're sat alone, it's very easy to slow down and it's all very depressing. And like my album was a little. Um,
I'm going to say it was dark and atmospheric. It wasn't depressing.
yeah, not depressing. It was just, yeah, atmospheric. I'm not bagging on Lies here.
But that also begs another question then, because obviously there's a lot of production involved in some of this music. So, I mean, how does it translate when you do go out touring? And have you got plans to tour any of the new stuff?
I haven't been doing solo gigs. I've been working with a band called Electric Swing Circus, who are an amazing mega band in the electro swing scene. So that's kind of where I've been using up my physical energy in performing, because I would love to be able to do all these songs live and do an Alanna Lyes thing. And I have kind of toyed with it a little bit before. I've worked with DJs, and we did some cool festivals and things like that. But I tried to get a solo band off the ground a couple of years ago, and oh my goodness, it is so hard to put together a band. Like you at the minute that six people are free, it's been like 2 months and nobody can remember anything. So yeah, I've put that one to the side for now, and I'm just enjoying turning up and joining in with Electric Swing Circus, and then yeah, for my own stuff, just kind of keeping it in the studio. And it also means that I get to work with all these amazing people from all around the world as well.
Yeah, which is exciting in itself. And obviously
It
that's kind of
is.
fulfilling in its own way. Well, what about any plans on bringing Electro Circus over to the Isle of Man? Could that happen at any point?
You never know if somebody's got a
Good
good
venue.
venue, a festival, maybe they're a good festival band. Then yeah, who knows?
We'll have to
I'd
put it
love to
out
go. I'd
there.
love to.
Come home and do this for us, Alana. We miss you. Well, tell us then, what is next for you after? I mean, it seems like you're just releasing things on a weekly basis at the moment, but what's coming up next for you?
So I just recently released a little cute kind of lo-fi track with some guys. There was Internali, who is producer and guitarist, and Erwin. Oh, I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Erwin Do. Sorry, Erwin, if I said it wrong. Who is a German jazz pianist and producer, and we've kind of got a little trio going on. So yeah, we had this cute little track called Cosmic, which is a sort of jazzy lo-fi track, and then we've got two more off that sort of run that's coming out soon over the next few months. There's going to be what are they called? Ocean is out in May, I think, and then we've got Missing Piece out in June. And
Was that who you
then
did Slumber with as well? Was
it
that the same?
is,
Yeah.
yeah, same little trio. And we've kind of yeah, we've been working on other tracks as well, which are in the pipeline. And then other than that, I mean, I've had around the time when I was doing Restless and doing the Strange Lies EP, I was working on a load of random collaborations. They're still somewhere in the ether, and they may emerge at some point over the next year or so.
Well, tell me then, speaking of collaborations, who would be your ultimate person to collaborate with who you haven't been able to yet, but it's just like on your hit list? And even if it's not in the genre of swing or electro swing or jazz or electronic, just somebody, who would you love to collaborate with?
I mean, probably everybody in electro swing would always say that if they could work with Caravan Palace or Parastella, that'd be great. That'd be lovely.
Just putting it out there.
Just putting it out there, guys. But in general, oh, if they had to be alive as well. So I
Well,
mean,
okay, I'll give you
probably
one living, one
most.
dead.
Okay, if I can have someone who is not living, Billie Holiday is just my all-time idol. I think she just had the most unique and iconic voice.
Hmm.
Living, oh, that's a tough one. I would say Ezra Collective would be a really cool band to be able to work with.
I can hear
They're
your
fantastic.
voice on their stuff. I can totally hear that. Because I mean, they work with female vocalists a lot, and I can imagine that happening definitely. Oh, let's put it out there. Ezra Collective,
We've got
Alanna
to manifest
Lyes.
these things.
Exactly. Well, they listen to Max Radio all the time,
I
so
I heard that. I've seen you regularly feature on their socials.
I know all over the place. It's embarrassing, quite frankly. I've had to tell them to stop a few times, but well, let's
Get a
put it
little bit
out there.
stalkerish.
Exactly, I know. We love you, Ezra Collective. Anyway, listen, Alanna, thank you so much for the update. We're really excited for everything that's going on with you, and and it's I can understand it because as we've talked about before, you are from such a musical family. You all do wonderful things with music, both on the island and much further afield as you're doing as well. So we wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.